Hello, everyone. How are you today? It's been a while since I've been live on Facebook, just me and you. I mean, I've done the lives with my authors, and I'm really enjoying doing that and bringing them to you, even sometimes as much as two, three times a week. But I wanted to just come on today, just you and I, and have a conversation. I hope you will join me. Hit the like button. Feel free to comment if you have anything you'd like to say. I just wanted to remind you just how incredibly wonderful you are and check in and see, just in case nobody had told you that you still knew that you knew you were amazing, and that somebody today, before today got away, let you know just how powerful and incredible you are. You see, each of us has a gift. Some of our gifts are really weird. Some of them are really boring, really. I mean, to us. But the fact of the matter is the most boring of things in our lives that we do that we're massively talented at, we, for somebody else, they are something that is life altering. It's something they struggle every moment of every day of their life with. Um, I just hopefully you got it. We did a book last week called Mobility and Inclusion, and it was talking about people with mobility issues. And I begin to realize just how much we take for granted something as simple as standing up out of our chair and walking across the room. Something as simple as having the ability to make it through a doorway. Because we were talking about in the interview, we were talking about the fact that many office buildings, even though they have elevators, the doors themselves aren't wide enough for a wheelchair to fit through in the whole entire building. And it's just the way buildings were created. And the fix for it can be really simple. It can be as simple as just literally taking the whole door and the frame off and just having it be an open frame, so that an opening there, so that the people can fit into the door. It can be just that simple to make such a huge difference, to allow people to work there, to allow customers to be able to do service and business with you, all of those kind of things. You see, something as simple as standing up out of your chair and walking into the kitchen, something as simple as having the capability to make your own lunch. It always amazes me, because as a kid growing up, my mom went back to college when I started middle school. She graduated with her, maybe it was even before that, I'm trying to think. She graduated with her master's degree the same year that I graduated from high school. It's actually really cool. My mom, my older brother, Bob, and myself, all three graduated that same year. We have pictures. In fact, my mom was just telling me the other day when I was talking to her on the phone that she has that picture on the wall still of the three of us. She was getting her master's degree. My brother graduated from college that year, and I graduated from high school all in 1985. It was a while ago. I know I'm old. I'm not really that old, but I am 54. I've seen a few things. Uh, you know, and the thing about it is that something as simple as that can make such a huge difference in people's lives. Something as simple as, and the point I was trying to make is about food. Because my mom went back to school and my dad had a full time job, um, I often, well, definitely when I got home from school, nobody was there a lot of the times. And, teenage boys, that's all I have to really say about that. Teenage boys' food. Um, in that, I had to learn how to cook. If I wanted food, the only person in the whole house that was going to feed me was me, because I was the only one there. We didn't even have a dog. So it's a skill that I often take for granted. And I wouldn't call myself a chef or I like shows like MasterChef and Hell's Kitchen and ones like that. But I would never win a competition like that. I don't know off of the top of my head necessarily any recipes. I have a few things that I are my go-tos that I really like that I can make without looking at a recipe, and I don't really use recipes. But I'm kind of more of a what about this? What about that? I was making something the other day, and I just was like, let's just add a little bit of this in it because normally I would add that in it, but I don't have any of that left. So let's just, and then you taste it and you go on, right? And I was realizing through that, I know you're all talking about and thinking now, oh my gosh, will you please stop talking about food? But the thing I realized in that is there's a lot of people that don't know how to be able to do that. They, the age old phrase, they can't even boil water. That one always baffles me. I'm like, all you got to do is put the water on the stove and turn it on. I suppose maybe it's the turn it on or the knowing where the stove is. I don't know. Maybe somebody that can't boil water can tell me where the struggle is for you. Maybe we can fix that for you right here today, live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That could be a lot of fun. But the point is that the things that we do the easiest, we do it with such grace and ease that we've discounted it. And we just are like, who can't boil water? I mean, come on. For us, it's easy, but for them, they literally cannot feed themselves because they never learned that skill. It was several years ago now, but I remember watching a show. It was probably Oprah or something like that, and they were showing how much money. Just a couple. It was, they didn't have any kids. It was just the two of them. How much money they were spending every month in to-go food because neither of them knew how to cook. And on that particular episode, they brought in, I don't even remember what chef, but they brought in a chef and he taught them some really basics of feeding themselves. And the encouragement was just, not go crazy, not, go from you always go out to eat, you always get takeout food to you're going to cook now every single solitary day, but just one day a week. And then maybe if you get really good at that, maybe you can go to 2 days a week. And it was really interesting to see how much money they spent in that. And I've been in places over the last few years where there have been times when it's like, look, there's just not, I have not created for myself the life, because that's really the truth, that allows me the capability to, no, that's not the right way of saying that accounts for the fact that I should cook and not just eat. I was having some issues with my arm that I'm so grateful I don't have anymore. But for a while there, it literally became I can cook or I can eat. The neuropathy that I was dealing with in my arm was bad enough that I could make the meal and I could cook, but then I couldn't use my arm to be able to eat the food that I had cooked. So, I get it. I understand. And I know just how much money you can spend really quickly when you go out to eat, even something simple. I mean, even if you go to someplace like, and I'm not recommending this nutrition-wise, but if you go to something like McDonald's, even the cost of something as basic as like a Happy Meal, which is not as cheap as it used to be. I was at McDonald's the other day. Yes, I still go sometimes. And I was thinking how good a filet of fish sandwich sounded. And I ordered it. And it was like $5 for the sandwich. And I'm like, we used to have 99-cent filet of fish sandwiches every Friday. And that wasn't that long ago. I'm going off. I'm going on this rant in my car all by myself because Mocha doesn't like riding in cars. I wish she would. I would take her everywhere with me. I'd probably drive around all the time if she wanted to ride in the car and be with me. But anyway, that's a total side note. So I'm having this rant in the car with myself about how expensive things are. And, it wasn't that long ago. And then I stopped and I realized the last time I remember specifically a 99-cent filet of fish sandwich was about 20 maybe even as much as 22 years ago now. And I'm like, oh gosh, time goes by way too fast, doesn't it? At any rate, I'm really hadn't intended to just come on and talk to you about food and make you all stop what you're doing and go eat lunch. Although it is noon Pacific time, which means that it's already 3 o'clock East Coast time, and you should take a time out of your schedule and have lunch. But what I really wanted to do is first of all let you know you're amazing. You're incredible. The you that is you is absolutely perfect. And what you do is exactly who you are, is exactly what the world needs from you. We need the others in the world as well. There's a purpose for every single one of the billions of people that live on this tiny little planet. Each of you has a purpose and a reason, and you're here and you're special. And we need you to just simply be you. You don't have to be Michael Jordan. We had him. We've got an Oprah Winfrey. You know, we've had all the people throughout course of history and all the people that are living now, and they're filling their role. But we need you to be the best you that you can be, because you're amazing. And we want and need your amazingness in our lives to do that thing that you do so well that you probably don't even give yourself credit for it. You're probably, like most all of us, so busy seeing your faults and your flaws that you don't see your talent and your capability and your ability. And we can so easily go through a day defeating ourselves because of the things we're focused on. Many of you know I'm single again. You know, I went through my second divorce. I don't talk about it much. It's not something that I'm proud of or something that I'm ever going to brag about. Um, and I admit it, some days it has a real impact on me. It's real easy to fall into the trap, and many of you that have been through a divorce know this. It's real easy to fall into the trap of feeling like a failure, feeling unworthy, and having really, really low self-esteem. But the truth of the matter is that you're just amazing as you were when you were married. You're just as amazing as you were when you were single before the marriage. You're just amazing as you were that day you were born, and your parents or your soon to be adopted parents or whomever looked at you with love, and all they could see was how amazing you are. And I know there's some people who their experience at that first moment in life wasn't that blessing that it should have been. But I can tell you that the whole of creation was rejoicing at the miracle of your birth. All of the stars winked in the sky at you. All of the angels clapped their wings because you exist. In joy and rejoicing, the universe expanded to make room for the blessing that is you. I hope you can take that in today. I hope you can take it deep down into your heart, that you can say something nice about you, and then that all of us together can maximize while it's called today. That's all. Tomorrow will come. It'll have its own challenges and its own stuff, but we can't live tomorrow today. I know a lot of us try. You know, there's a lot of nights that I'm still working. It's midnight, and and then it flips over to 12:01. It's like, ha! I worked tomorrow too, and it's like, well, no, you just worked both yesterday and now today. We don't get to use tomorrow's energy. We can't change yesterday. There are some horrendous things that happened in our past, and as well as historically in the past. Those only can serve to be lessons, possibly even things that someone needs to apologize for. But even if that apology never comes, embrace the love, acceptance, and forgiveness of the universe and maximize today. Don't let yesterday define you, no matter how horrible that thing was. And I don't want to undersell it at all. I've worked with enough authors that I know how bad it can get, how horrendous the situation can be. I've heard some stories that I was glad I wasn't on camera while the person was telling them, because the tears were streaming down my face and my heart was breaking just at the thought of some of the things that some of my authors have been through. And the converse of that is true too. The exciting, explosive joy and the high points that so many have been through as well, I celebrated with them. So I understand if looking back at every moment, meaning everything prior to right now, past in your life has not been good. It's over. That sounds harsh, and I don't mean it that way, but it is the past now. And we do have the capability. I don't know if we have the ability, but we have the capability to learn the ability to move forward in spite of, in the midst of. There are some kids, I think of children, it's not just children, there's also, full grown adults that are in situations that are completely irreconcilable, and that there is no out in this particular moment, whatever that may be. Sometimes it's the consequences of past actions, and sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with anything you've done. But even in those places, even in the midst of the most horrendous of circumstances, you can be the best you that you can be today. You'll be better tomorrow. You'll learn more over the course of the days, weeks, months, years ahead of you. But today is the day that you have. All too often, and I'm so guilty of this, I'm a dreamer, just like Joseph was. I think of Joseph, and even if you don't believe in God the same way I do, there are some really good stories in the Bible, even so. And I think of Joseph, and I think how, as a young man, or probably even a preteen, based on best guess, he had dreams and visions of a lofty, giant future for himself. His imagination of his future was enormous, but he wasn't there. He was this, next to youngest of all the children in his family. And although he was far and away his daddy's favorite, he was also far and away hated by his 10 older brothers. And the probability that he was going to rule the world like he saw in his dreams wasn't there. And Joseph had the problem as a preteen, which we all do, of wanting to live the future that he saw for himself, rather than maximizing while it's called today. And I understand that because I'm a dreamer too. And I know what it's like to have such huge dreams, and that we want to put everything that we have into getting to there. But we have to also remember to live right here where we are today. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't huge things you can do while it's called today. Sometimes there are enormous things that you are going to do while it's called today. But sometimes the best use of today, it's Saturday if you're listening live, maybe the best use of today is mowing the lawn. Maybe, maybe you worked really hard this week and you need to binge watch something really fun on television. I recommend Boston Legal. Some of the humor is a little bit inappropriate, but that's part of also what makes it really funny. Um, if you've never binge watched that one's a blast. Um, Maybe you need a really nice nap. Maybe you need to drive out into the country or down to the beach or the lake or, whatever your happy place is. And maybe you can't spend all day there because life still happens and there's still kids to be fed and things like that. But maybe you can sit for 10 minutes and just drink it in. Maybe when the stars come out tonight, you can just step outside and look up and gaze in wonder at the beauty and the awe that is the night sky. It doesn't have to be life altering. It doesn't have to be, and now I want you to go cure cancer. Maximize while it's called today. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something as simple as taking a nap and being kind to yourself. It can be as simple as if you struggle with your self esteem, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, just simply saying something nice to yourself about yourself. And maybe if you're blessed like I am to have a sweet little doggy like Mocha, maybe scoop her up, snuggle with her, rub her belly, and hug and kiss. Or maybe one of your babies. Or maybe you're married and you have a beautiful, wonderful spouse. Maybe you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you need to just call them on the phone and tell them or your parents or your children that are grown, I love you. You're the best. You're amazing. I want you to know how incredible you are today. To feel free and empowered to be able to go out into the world and just simply be the best you that you can be while it's called today. Take good care of yourself. I hope that you are happy, safe, warm, and loved. That every minute of your life you are thriving in all that you do. And that in the times, because life's that way, that you aren't, that you will know you're still so wonderful and so worthy. That you will maximize while it's called today. That you will live your days in thriving. And then until we're together again next time, that you will have an amazingly great week.